Hey, this is Terry Butler from Obituary, and you're watching Eclectic Arts.
Hey Terry, welcome to Seattle.
Thank you.
And you guys are here on the Decibel Tour, and you're with Creator and Midnight and Horrendous, and I think tonight has The Drip as the kind of regional band.
Yep.
So how the tour dates going so far?
Great. This is about the 10th show, and it's been great crowd response. Fans are awesome. It's been a really good tour. All the bands are getting along. Creator, I toured with them in early 90s, and I've known some of those people really well. And Horrendous and Midnight are awesome bands, so you guys should definitely check them out.
Cool. And it's kind of cool because there's like different types of metal. You got thrash and death and kind of like the old Venom, Bathory type of band.
Absolutely. Motorhead. Midnight are awesome. They remind me of New England British heavy metal, kind of Motorhead, Venomish, Venom-esque. Yeah.
Cool. And then I know you guys, it was roughly maybe about a week ago, the 10th album came out, the self-titled Obituary album.
Yep.
And what can you tell me about it?
Well, it was recorded August, September last year in 2016. And we actually, Ken finished up some of his guitar parts on the road, actually. That's how tight we were squeezed for time, but because we had to do the Battle of the Bass tour with Exodus. But it was all recorded at our studio in Gibsonton, Florida, Redneck Studios. It's also where we practice. It's at John's house. So we did everything there. It was mixed by Joe Sincata. He's done Suffocation. He runs Sound for Body Count. He's done a bunch of bands. And he also did the 10,000 Ways to Die release that came out, that live stuff on
Yeah, in between,
Yeah, and we just, after Inkton Blood's artwork, there's no way we could top that or whatever, so we said, okay, let's just kind of go the other way. Let's just put out a killer logo, a black album with our logo on it, and it's our 10th album, iconic release, and that's just kind of what we went, stripped down a little bit, went the other way with the album title, so.
Okay, cool. And maybe you can kind of speak about it. Most of the Obituary fans know that some of your music videos have been these animated versions of the band that have been really well received. So kind of how did that start? And I know you continued with something off the new album as well.
Yeah, that started with Inkton Blood for the song Violence. An artist, Balazs Groff, he sent, he's a big fan of Obituary. He wanted to do a video for us, animated, so we're like, okay, kind of send us a little snippet of something you've done so we can see. And he did, and we're like, okay, let's go with it. So we kind of got a storyboard together, kind of worked out kind of the plot, because we thought, we've all done a million times over the cliche video where you're standing in a forest or, you're on stage playing and it's the song over the top of it, just something like, we didn't want to do that, So he made that video, Violence. Mm-hmm. And for the new album, for 10,000 Ways to Die, it's a continuation of the first video, and it's even more in depth. It's even better, in my opinion. So, we had our friends, Nasty Savage, who, everyone from the Tampa Bay metal scene, they were a huge influence on all of us when we were like 15. Mm-hmm. Morbid Angel guys, Death guys, Massacre guys, Monstrosity guys. We would all go see Nasty Savage play when we were like 15 years old. So we wanted to be like them. So we put them in our videos and paid homage to them. And it's got great. It's been received, very well. So we have a few people that are down. Guys have sold out now. You're doing cartoons, blah blah. We're like, we've been doing this 30 years. So. Right. I think we've earned the right to do what we want, so.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that for me, I'm 46.
Yeah.
It's cool to see a band do something different. It's
Absolutely.
funny, it's humorous. You're kind of poking fun at yourselves.
I know.
And yet the music's still there, so it's going to be pummeling and doing everything Obituary does.
Anyone that knows us personally will know that we're we're always smiling and silly and cracking up and telling jokes and just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we wanted to convey into that video. That's so.
Cool. So, things have kind of definitely changed in the recording industry. I know for your last album, not the live album, the last studio album, we were doing crowdfunding, and then you guys went in and recorded the self-titled album. Does it ever get to a point where you're kind of questioning why you're doing this, only because it's all the time for writing the songs, doing pre-production, recording, getting it out there, and then even like Relapse, streams the entire thing, and you're kind of like, damn, we just spent months, if not years, trying to get something together, and instantly, bang, there it is.
Yes, I often ask myself that, especially on the business side of things,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone wants a piece of you. You know what I mean? Like the club wants 25% of your merch. There's state tax, taken out of your pay. There's county tax, blah blah blah. Before you know it, you're like, why are we even doing this? But that's just how it's always been. But one good thing now is, the internet is great and bad at the same time. But I mean, like Pro Tools and everything, we can record everything at our house now completely on our own schedule and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great, but it does get tough when, we are trying to make a living at this, and we can make a living at it, but we have to work hard at it, and be on the road a lot and stuff. And like I said, everybody wants a piece of you, The streaming thing, exactly. I don't understand why a week after the album came out, it's streaming. So it's like, I don't know, but we just, I've chosen this. For 30 years I've been doing this, and I love it. I love playing live. I love seeing the fans, talking to the fans. So I'm going to do it until I can't do it anymore. So.
Okay. That actually brings up a good point too for all the 30 plus years, maybe 40 plus years even of going to shows yourself and headbanging and being in bands and playing death metal. Is your body holding up, or you have like neck issues, back issues, that kind of thing?
So far I'm all right. Sometimes the back does start to hurt a little bit, but so far it's cool. I mean, we kind of take care of ourselves on the road some, not so much when we were 20, but a lot more now. And it helps when you have a nice bus to be in. That you can have a nice bed to sleep in. I mean, we've all done the van tours where you got 3 hours of sleep for 8 days in a row because right after you're done playing the show, you got to drive 12 hours to the next show and all that. So, but yeah, we're doing all right.
Okay. And what kind of motivates you still to play brutal death metal? I mean, you guys are one of the original bands as far as death metal is concerned, and here you are still doing it all these years later. I kind of think, we're like the first tier of the death metal. We're like the beginning of it, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And so we're like still carrying the torch for that first generation of death metal, as I say. But I love playing heavy music. I just love the feeling of it, the heaviness of it, and when we're on stage playing, when I see the kids out there singing the songs, going nuts, doing the pit, jumping off the stage, just totally into it, because of the music we're creating, they're there to see it and they enjoy it. That's a high, I love that feeling. I love being on tour in general, seeing different cities, the whole thing of coming into a club, setting up, doing a sound check, you're backstage hanging out, you're getting ready for the show. It's just exciting to me, so I like that.
Okay. I think what's interesting for a lot of people that aren't into metal is they don't realize that, especially with death metal, most, if not all, the guys are really down to earth. They're really cool.
Yeah.
They're not trying to eat puppies and other crazy things.
No, that's not us.
No. What would people be surprised that maybe that you like to listen to that has nothing to do with metal?
I mean, I kind of like a lot of classical stuff, which some of that goes into rock. But I was kind of raised on the old school country western kind of stuff.
Okay.
Marty Robbins, Charlie Rich, Charlie Pride, this kind of stuff. Because all of my family, we're from the sticks, so to speak. So I was raised on that stuff. So I love a lot of the old country stuff. The newer stuff's real poppy and stuff. I'm not into that, but that'd probably be the most shocking thing that I kind of actually like.
So we're going old school.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite kind of music that I really like is like 70s hard rock. UFO, Thin Lizzy's my favorite band.
Awesome.
Uriah Heep, Blue Oyster Cult, all that stuff. That's kind of my favorite. I mean, I still really listen to a lot of the 80s metal I grew up on and stuff, but the hard rock is my favorite right
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Thin Lizzy album?
Man, you know, it's funny. I'm always torn between like Johnny the Fox and like Black Rose, kind of.
Mhm.
Each day it's different.
I hear you.
know, those I don't know. I'd probably say overall maybe Johnny the Fox. You know.
Okay. Does that also mean though, like liking Black Rose, that you're a Gary Moore fan?
I love Gary
Yeah.
Moore. He is so underrated. He's an amazing guitar player. Yeah, I love Gary Moore.
I play guitar. He's my favorite guitar player. He's my number one influence.
He's in my top 5. You know, I love that style. You know.
Mhm.
Definitely, I love a lot of the solo stuff as well.
Cool. Now, since you play bass in Obituary, what other instruments do you play outside of the band?
I mean, I have some guitars at home. I also play guitar, and I can fool around on some drums here and there. That's about it. I'd really like to start doing some piano, just to do it. You know, maybe not incorporating that into anything that we do, but just for my own personal pleasure. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you sing at all?
Just in the shower. No.
Singing Thin Lizzy songs or something?
Absolutely, yeah, but never sang on stage or anything.
Okay. I met a guy here locally he said he's from Florida, and he's trying to recreate like the death metal scene that was down there, but he wants to make like a black metal scene up here.
Yeah.
And what do you think it is that, because you're a part of that scene for all those years, what is it about that area that kind of worked with everybody?
You know, it just kind of, I don't think you could force it. It just kind of happened. Like we, like I said, Florida's had a nice music scene, you know, in the Tampa area too. It was a lot of punk early on, believe it or not. Local punk bands kind of we would go see, and then Nancy Savage kind of started in Sabotage.
Yeah.
And that's right about the time that underground music started kind of coming out. I mean, the new Everybody's Heavy Metal started coming out, but like Slayer first kind of hit, Metallica, so you know they kind of hit. But it's just like I said, a lot of the people that wanted to see these bands play when we were kids ended up being in bands, you know. And we just wanted to go faster. We wanted to be louder and heavier. You know, it was like an evolution. You know, and it's just you know, 25 kids that were at that show wanted to start bands, and they did, and that kind of, you know, they rose up from that. And, but I don't think you can say, okay, we're going to start a scene right now. You know, it's something that evolves. You know.
So it just happened organically.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of all the bands that you guys have played, like you just mentioned, you toured with Exodus, and you toured with just a multitude of bands over the years, and all the bands that you've been in.
Yeah.
Who's like a bucket list band that you'd want to at least not just do one show, but an actual tour, at least in like a month's worth of shows, kind of a thing?
You know, I mean, I've never personally did a Slayer tour. I think that would be nice. You know. You know, they're missing 2 of their members they had in the glory days, but
Right.
I would still like to tour with them.
Sure.
That would be definitely on my bucket list. I mean, obviously, doing some shows with Iron Maiden or Judas Priest would be awesome. But like a reunited Celtic Frost with the original members would be awesome. Something like that, you know. The bands I'm into would never be able to play, you know, like Angel Witch will never be able to have the original lineup and do all that, or Witchfinder Generals. But, you know, whatever. But
Okay, and last question. I know you guys have a lot of shows coming up after this tour. You've done some headlining ones, and you got stuff in summer. What can you tell us a little bit about that? What's coming up?
yeah, after this tour, which lasts about 2.5 weeks, we have a couple weeks off, then we do an East Coast run, starting like in Pensacola, Florida, up into Connecticut, come back down. It's 10 shows. Then we got a couple weeks off, and then we head over to Europe to start the festival, you know, festival cycle.
Yeah.
Which we're back and forth to Europe about 3 times, playing about 6 shows each time, 7 shows, festivals, and some shows mixed in. Then we got a couple things, a couple irons in the fire, pots in the fire, so to speak, for some touring in Europe and America in September, October, you know, November, December.
Okay.
I can't say who it is right now because there's a couple options going on. But we plan on touring pretty much as we can. You know, there's even some stuff lined up for January, February of 2018. You know. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be hitting it hard then.
Yeah. You know, the new album's out and it's doing well. So it came out March 17th, Relapse Records, and it's doing really well. So we just want to keep riding that wave. You know, that's what it's about.
Cool.
It's a cycle. You know.
Sounds good. Well, hey, thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to the gig tonight and
All right.
people down in the pit and everything else. So it's going to be crazy tonight in Seattle.
Well, thank you for the interview.